Hey, Sean, this is something I can't say every day because you don't build billion-dollar castles in the sand because you make mistakes. But I feel like Vegas made two mistakes today. I don't know if that tells me that I am a sucker and they've just thrown that bait out for me and I found it, I sniffed it out, and now that hook is right here and they're just about to set that and reel me in, or if I've actually found some mistakes, one in baseball and one in MLS. So we're going to have a little bit of a math test or a little bit of a math lesson today. You come to a sports betting show to do math. Doesn't that sound like fun, huh?
Hey, when you're involving money and numbers, there is a lot of math involved. So, I thought you were going to say, you broke your rule yesterday and you went to the $20 bet also on an over, and that's the one bet you won yesterday.
Yeah, that's sad but true. In the words of Metallica.
Although you got lucky with that too, because it was 1-0 for like the first 4 or 5 innings, and I was getting nervous.
Yeah, but I knew they were going to give up some runs. The score doesn't matter until the end of the game, right? So even if they scored 9 in the bottom of the 9th to get a lead, but at the same time, I was a little unlucky thanks to you with the San Francisco Giants. You put the jinx on me. They're going to score. You're going to get it back. Bases loaded, no outs, no runs. Yes, sir. Thank you, Sean.
Again,
you can even kill my bets.
Had a simple sack fly. Whatever happened?
Whatever happened, it's just contact. Yes, for sure. But in any case, I don't know. It just once Sean puts his stamp of approval on it, you might as well just throw it in the garbage. You ever seen the movie The Bronx Tale? You're looking at the mooch.
Yeah. Apparently.
But in any case, so today we got 4 NFL games. Is there anything you like in the NFL preseason in these 4 games?
Well, I'm actually going to parlay 3, the obvious winners here.
Well, how can you say there's obvious winners in preseason? This is preseason.
I know. See, now I just put the jinx on this. But I don't trust Andy Reid saying they're going to play the starters for the half, but the starters are going to see some action there. And Kansas City's backups are way better than Minnesota as well. I don't want to give up points in any of these, but I will take Kansas City, the Jets over the Eagles. The Jets have looked better, and the Jets are going to play a little bit more than the Eagles are. And there was one more.
How can you say the Jet? You're talking about the Colts over Detroit?
No, that's not the one I did.
Well, then the other game is Pittsburgh, Carolina.
All right, well, then I'm just going to go with the 2. I'm just going to go with Kansas City over Minnesota and the Jets over the Eagles.
What does that work out to be?
I got to do it because I had a Saturday.
Are you money lining them, or are you taking
just money lining them? Yeah, just money lining them.
Oh, that's going to be minus 300.
Plus 109.
Plus 109?
Together, yeah.
That's kind of hard to believe. But anyway, because they're the 2 biggest favorites on the night. So
yeah, but they're only minus 240 and minus 210. So you put them together, you get plus 109.
That makes it interesting to me. All right. Well, that sounds like a good one. I just don't trust any NFL football whatsoever at all in the preseason. Like I said, I took some money out of this preseason. There's one game maybe tomorrow that I might bite on for a specific reason. Has nothing to do with personnel, but more about a particular mind frame. I think one team is going to come into the game with tomorrow night, but we'll find out if that's how it works out.
And I would think a lot of unders tonight too. You could probably go 3-1 in the unders if you played all 4.
Maybe they'll probably all go over now. MLB Baseball. You have first game on the schedule is Arizona and Philadelphia. Boy, that Arizona team pounded on my Philly bet last night, and then I turned it off, started doing something else, and came back and saw that they were a 1 run away from tying that game in the bottom of the 9th. But of course, they fell 1 run short, so I lost.
Just for the record, I didn't open my mouth on that one. I didn't text you or nothing on that one. They just lost on their own as they came back. But apparently Arizona's got the Phillies number this year so far. I'm not going to do it, but I do see value here. Plus, you can double your money with Arizona. And Aaron Nola.
More than that.
Yeah, a little bit. Aaron Nola has not been great this year. Let me do a half. I'll do a half a bet on Arizona. I'll do the same thing. I'll get the hook, $15 on Arizona. I just see a lot of value here with the Phillies struggling. Arizona has owned the Phillies so far this year. So I will take the hook here.
You might as well. There's 78% of the almost 80 cents on the dollar is on the Phillies to win tonight. I tried that route last night. I'm not going to try that route tonight. You can call that a pass. St. Louis versus Pittsburgh. This is a case of this kid Peters pitching lights out. so far in 2021. Kind of reminds me of the Tuki Toussaint conversation that we had. I feel like that he's going to regress to the mean, so to speak. But I'm not so confident that J.A. Happ is going to pitch very well either. So he could revert to the mean, and Pittsburgh still managed to win this game because Happ's not really pitched very well at all.
No, and this is one I'm completely passing. If I would go anywhere, I'd take the value with Pittsburgh, but I'm not going to go on this one.
Yeah, it's one of those games where Pittsburgh actually has they lost last night that run line advantage that they had, and the little bit of a power ranking advantage that they had in that loss last night to St. Louis. So it's still kind of close to a 50-50 game that favors St. Louis, but you got to pay minus 150 for 50-50. I can't do that.
And Pittsburgh's also 10-29 versus lefties, like we've talked about. So St. Louis is 17-13. So there's that.
Tampa Bay and Baltimore. This might be a part of one of those minus 200 parlays for me on Tampa Bay and Baltimore. But Harvey's pitched a little better. I don't think it's really necessary, but if I were going to do one, I would put Tampa Bay in here with Houston and the Chicago White Sox. I think those three teams are the most likely to win tonight. And if you put the three of them together, you can get plus 209. I don't need to do that to find plus money tonight because I got a couple of other things, but Tampa Bay would be the only way I would use them. They should absolutely mop Baltimore, even with Matt Harvey pitching.
I agree. And everything you're saying, besides a new rule for me is never put Houston in a parlay. Houston will burn your parlay 75% of the time, so I would never put Houston in that. But I do agree with you with Tampa Bay and the White Sox.
Anything for you on this game at all? You're going to do the minus 200 parlay?
No.
All right. So are you ready for your math class right now, your math lesson?
Okay, let's do it.
All right, the New York Mets and the Washington Nationals. Mets are a minus 200, but surprisingly, you can get them for a plus line. Let's see, the New York Mets, plus 102 is the best one you can get. I got them for plus 100 in my DraftKings account. Okay, Rich Hill, you can just toss Rich Hill out of this equation. We don't need Rich Hill. Bye, Rich. Great name, however. Paulo Espino has a real hard time getting out of the fifth inning. So usually gets out second or third inning. Then the bullpen comes in. Washington's bullpen is not very good. Paulo himself has a 7.32 ERA in the last month. He's given up 16 runs in 19 innings. Okay, no math yet. So let's look at the math. When Paulo Espino gets on the mound, it's been in 27 games. In those 27 games, the Washington Nationals are 7-20. So that means that they lose 74% of the time when Paulo Espino pitches. Now, in those 20 games, they lost 16 of them by more than 2 runs, right?
Mm-hmm.
So there's a 74% chance that the Mets are going to win this game based upon Espino pitching, and an 80% chance that the game is going to go over, that the Mets will win by more than 2 runs. So 80% of 74% works out to 59.2%. So all statistics looking at this game, there is a 59.2% chance based upon every game Paulo Espino has pitched this year that the Nationals will lose by at least 2 runs. Something that should happen 59.2% of the time should be around minus 145. I'm getting plus 102. Because the math says that I take this play. The math says I take this play in a big way. I just probably jinxed it in an equally big way, but I'm going to go ahead and take that value. I'm going to take something that I'm going to get paid for that I should be paying about 60 cents for, that I'm only paying 50 cents for. $30 on the Mets, even with their putrid offense, to cover this game by 2 runs or more.
Yeah,
how about that?
That's it's the Mets, though, and for them to win a game by 2 or more runs, I just
went through the numbers with you, Sean. It's not about the Mets; it's about the math.
It's the Mets, though, because Paulo Espino has not been facing the Mets on all those starts. Would be the only problem.
It's not the Mets, Sean. It's the math. And when you come to finally understand that it's never about the Mets, It's about it's all these games. It's never about the personnel, Sean. It's really never about the teams, just a little bit of it. I'm going to say to you about 60-70% of it is straight math. And then from there, you do the rest. And as soon as you come to realize it's about the math, you'll realize that you're going to start hitting a lot more winners. Boston and Cleveland. This is another game that I think that you could probably add to that parlay. I looked at this pitching matchup, and I probably won't do it because I did it yesterday. But if you want a game that they're probably going to score runs in and a lot of runs in, this might be the game of the night.
Yeah, I agree with that because Cleveland's offense, like we said, is starting to heat up. Boston's got a good offense, and these pitchers are terrible. So we have a 9.5 line. So, yeah, this is actually one I was going over. I'm going to take it.
You're going to do it?
Well, yeah.
I read your mind.
Well, I like the overs and unders occasionally. I'll break a rich roll, but this one, yeah, I like it over 9.5.
Yeah, to me, it just stood out as a game that's likely to be very high scoring. It's pretty hot in the Midwest. I don't know what it's like in Cleveland. I don't live there. I live in Chicago. One armpit or the other. What difference does it make? They both smell.
The game will be 2-0 in the eighth inning.
Probably, and then they'll score nine runs in the ninth. Get you out of it. Or it'll be one of those extra inning games where one team scores like 7 runs in the top of the Boston scores 7 in the top of the 9 and kills all of the underbets.
Like you say about that never happens for you. That there never has happened to me this year.
Yeah,
it's always happened. It always happens the other way.
Mm-hmm. The Toronto Blue Jays, Detroit Tigers. The Tigers are a much better team at home than they are on the road. This game to me wasn't as lopsided as probably a lot of people think it might be. So to me, it's a game that I kind of would like to think about taking Detroit, a team that wins 53% of their games at home and has a 50-50 power ranking, actually a little bit of an edge on the Blue Jays in terms of how they win at home and how much Toronto wins on the road. And the Blue Jays, as strong as their offense has been, has only got a slight power ranking advantage. A run line advantage for home and away against Detroit. So if there's a home team with a nice run line that I would think about taking, it might be the Detroit Tigers.
Yeah, they are 24-20 versus lefties, and Toronto's offense the last few weeks hasn't been as explosive. My concern was the pitching matchup. Steven Matz has been a lot better than Matt Manning, and that's where I couldn't go here on this game.
Mm-hmm. Well, I agree with you, but I just feel like it's a game that you might catch because they're a different team at home. I skipped one up in here too. Cincinnati and Miami. It's probably a game that you have something on, and because it seems like every time I skip one, Sean, it's something that you want to do.
No, not this case. This is one I'm not going to touch. Cincinnati Thompson's gone for the Marlins. I just couldn't do it.
Well, actually, when you look at the advanced metrics, Miley is a better pitcher than Thompson. So
he is.
But the thing is, Miami is Cincinnati's offense is just not on the same. Is not same outside of Cincinnati, out of what is it, the All-American Ballpark or something like that.
Something like that.
So to me, the Marlins do score more runs, but they have made some changes to their lineup. They haven't been as effective since the All-Star break. So if there's another home team that I would think about with a plus line, this would be my 1A or my B choice, the second choice. Detroit would still be my first one. Miami
is only 14-25 versus lefty, so that's the other problem taking them.
San Francisco and Atlanta. This is a game San Francisco with a plus line in this spot kind of looks good to me.
Yeah, but the Braves they've turned it around, and you got Fried on the mound here. It's a pass for me.
What would you say? This is a 50-50 game?
I would favor the Braves a little bit here.
You would? I would favor the San Francisco team a little bit here. Only thing is both pitchers have pitched against the other squad and have really low ERA. So I think this might be an excellent game to think about that no run in the first inning. And I think if I remember correctly,
there is a boost, yeah.
I think it's plus 120 on DraftKings.
Yep.
Considering the ERAs that these two guys have against one another, or at least against the Gausman has against the Braves and Max Fried has against the San Francisco Giants, I think that's a pretty solid bet. It's probably one that I'll play in my own account. I don't know. Are we allowed to do bonus bets here? We haven't set that rule yet, huh?
Sure, why not?
All right, I'm going to put I don't really like these ones, but when I looked at these numbers, just the only reason why I stayed off San Francisco is because I feel like Max Fried is going to have a great game, and the Braves will probably screw me by scoring in the first inning because every time I do anything against the Braves, they screw me. But I'm going to take that. I'm going to go ahead and put 20 on that first inning, no runs, taking that bonus play with DraftKings at plus 120. I think that's a smart play.
Yeah, I definitely saw that and definitely jumped off the page because this is one of the most likely to be a no-run first inning. So
when their ERAs are incredible against each other, so there's probably 6, 7. They probably score like 10 runs between the two of them in the first inning. But I'm going to go ahead and do it. I think it's a good play if those ERAs hold up. Each team might score 1 or 2 runs while the starting pitchers are in, and the odds of them doing in both of them or one of them doing it in the first inning out of 5 is what, 2 out of 10. So maybe a 20% chance that they do that. Houston and Texas, one of those minus 200 teams. They're not quite minus 200. You said don't do Houston in parlays because they'll burn them. I'm not going to do the parlay because I have enough plus lines for me tonight. That'll be 3, but it's something I would consider doing.
Yeah, like I said, I've been burned down this road so many times that Houston should win a game and they don't. So this would I would find something else to put in your parlay.
Well, the smart money, almost 90% of the money is on the Astros, and almost 90% of the tickets are on the Astros because the Texas pitcher is, I think, making his debut. I know it says Lyles there, but I read somewhere earlier that someone's making a debut.
Yeah, Lyles just pitched. So this is Glenn Odo.
Yeah, he's making his major league debut. Couldn't have picked the better team. The team that has the highest run differential, or one of them in all of baseball. Milwaukee and Minnesota was a game I wanted to take Milwaukee in, but again, the pitching matchup doesn't really favor me the way I wanted it to. So I'm going to stay away from this game, but it looks like the bettors are not, because 80% of the tickets, 80% of the change is all on Milwaukee.
Yeah, no, this is a pass for me. Like you said, Minnesota has the advantage in the starting pitching, and then I'm also not taking Minnesota at plus 116. As you know, I try to avoid Minnesota. If I want to do anything, I try to go against them. So this is a pass for me.
So Drew wants to pass along some information that he knows about the Broncos. Says he hears that they're going to be playing most of their starters the entire game against the Rams. So they don't play today, right? They play tomorrow.
I think they play tomorrow. Yeah, tomorrow or Sunday. You just got to watch what coaches say, because they get in the middle of that game and their whole thing changes. So I'd be surprised they go past the first half. And if they do go past the first half, they'll do one series in the third quarter and sit down from there.
Mm-hmm. And Eric Siegel wants to know, do we feel like the Yankees in the first inning draw makes sense? I don't know, because both of those teams are capable of scoring. And it seems like when either one of them scores, they score in bunches. It doesn't seem like it's like a trickle. Once the first run comes in, those floodgates open and it's water everywhere. Actually, I would feel a lot better, Eric, with that DraftKings bonus of plus 120, no runs in the first inning between the Giants and the Braves.
Yeah, and the Yankees have been really hot, and they've been hitting a lot of home runs. So they just got to hit a home run in that first inning with some of their big hitters, and you're done. So I would not do that.
Well, he's talking about a draw.
Yeah, but if the Yankees hit a home run, then Oakland's got to come up and score, and we've talked about their
offense stinks. Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, if the Yankees go down 1-2-3, I would think it's a pretty good likelihood because their offense stinks. So the next game is the White Sox and the Cubs, the crosstown rivalry here in Chicago. And quite frankly, the White Sox, even when the Cubs were good, seems like the White Sox always win that first leg of the crosstown series. White Sox probably kill them. You know, from being listening to me all the time about this, Sean, I am not a Dallas Keuchel fan. I expected runs to be scored in this game too. This might be another spot where you think about maybe taking the over.
Possibly. This is one I really wanted to take the White Sox giving up a run and a half, even at a minus line, but because of Keuchel going and possibly giving up runs. And the Cubs pitcher hasn't pitched bad. I passed on it.
So I've influenced you with that decision-making in the past, talking about Keuchel, how great he is?
Well, I've never really said how great he is. I mean, he used to be really good. Now he's just a serviceable pitcher.
San Diego and Los Angeles, a struggling team. I would think that there is a Well, there's no line there, so there's really not much we can do. The Yankees and Oakland, there's the game. Garrett Cole on the mound versus Manea. I think if there's going to be runs scored, it probably will be the Yankees in the first inning, if at all. Otherwise, I can see it being 0-0 with those two guys on the mound. But the Yankees probably do have a pretty good shot to get some good hits on Manea. He's pitched a little bit better at home, so maybe a no-run first inning makes sense there. I think if it's going to come, it'll come in the top of the first with the Yankees. Otherwise, I don't feel like it's coming. But I do think Cole gave up a run in the first inning last time, right?
Yeah, and like we talk about a lot of times, I don't know Cole's exact numbers, but a lot of times these good pitchers, it's that first inning that they'll give up a run or two, and then they settle in. So that's what makes those bets dangerous. I do like here, though. I'm making it official. I'm taking a plus line, giving up a run and a half with the Yankees. I think they're going to score. I mean, they've been scoring. They won 12 straight now. Oakland's offense isn't going to keep up with them. I don't see no problem here in the Yankees being able to win by 2. Not guaranteeing it or nothing, just saying I like the plus line here.
Drew, I agree with you wholeheartedly. Tomorrow, the White Sox -1.5. They seem to always pound the Cubs. So even when the Cubs were good, I here in Chicago, I hated going to work with White Sox fans because the Cubs would be, they're the worst fans as it is anyway, but the White Sox would be way under 500. The Cubs were on their way to win independent, maybe a World Series, and somehow the third-rate White Sox would beat them. So now that the White Sox are the better team and the Cubs are the third, they're not even third-rate anymore. They're like fifth-rate with the squad they're throwing out there. The Dodgers and Colorado, again, no pitcher, no line, though I think Freeland is pitching. I did see the Dodgers like -200 and something on DraftKings. I don't know, because it seems like Colorado was giving the Dodgers some fits recently. Too big of a line for me, but maybe a part of that -200 parlay. But I don't know. What is it with the Dodgers and the inability? Them in San Diego. It must be something about California where you can't figure out who the hell's going to start for you.
I don't understand how within 5 hours of the game, how we don't know who's starting, and like you said, the Dodgers, this has been this way for a couple weeks now where it's been like that a lot. I don't know what they're doing, but
I don't think they know. Well, David Roberts, he's an unconventional manager anyway. So White Sox, Red Sox, let's see. White Sox, Reds, Blue Jays, safe parlay. The only one I worry about in there is maybe the Blue Jays. I talked about a 3-team parlay early on where I feel like if you took Tampa Bay, Sean doesn't like Houston and also the White Sox. So I think if you put those in there, those three were -2, but they were +209. But I do like the White Sox. I think the White Sox, the Reds are a little bit shaky with Zach Thompson on the mound. And the Marlins tend to score a little bit more runs at home than they do on the road, but they've really been struggling. Blue Jays, I think, are probably a pretty good play against Detroit. But we talked about that being Detroit, maybe the one home team that I might even think about playing tonight. So I would be a little bit frightened by the road favorites in Toronto and Cincinnati. So I think I just locked them in for you, Eric. Last game on the schedule is Kansas City and Seattle. Yesterday, I broke my rules. I went with an over in this spot. And then I was thinking, you know what? I would really like to maybe take Seattle tonight. They look like a better team than the Kansas City is. But then I looked at this pitching matchup, and this one is not even close. The KC pitcher, Bubic, is a much better pitcher than Logan Gilbert.
Wow. Yeah, that's surprising. So you're going to take Kansas City? Or you just going to pass?
No, I already got to. I mean, Kansas City on the road, that's, I don't know what that's like, but it's whatever it is, it's not good.
Yeah. No, this is a total pass for me.
All right. So that brings up, so for me in baseball tonight, I like I'm taking that no runs in the first inning bonus from DraftKings. And I'm also going to take, as I went through that math, the New York Mets, as bad as their offense is, beating the Washington Nationals, because when Paulo Espino pitches, there's a 59.2% chance that the opposing team will win by 2 runs or more. And I went through all that math, so rewind and watch so you can see how that all worked out. Next up is the MLS, Sean, to close out the show. Did you look at the MLS schedule tonight?
I did not.
Why not, dude?
I did not have enough time.
Oh, you're gonna my back already hurts from carrying the show, so now you're gonna make it hurt some more?
Hey, you've been all over the soccer. You do not need help in the soccer.
All right. So MLS tonight, the Montreal Football Club. They are playing the Toronto FC Football Club. Toronto's just a few years away from being one of the best teams in the MLS. They grew old pretty fast. So last night, Montreal was -10 and minus 110. I was like, yeah, I'm going to take them because when I look at the math once again says take Montreal. It's not about the math. It's not about the Mets. It's not about Montreal, Sean. It's about the math. And the math says that Montreal has about a 55% chance to win this game. So at 55% chance, the line should be minus 122. So that's why at minus 110, I was like, okay, cool. I don't want to take a minus line in MLS because of the stupid
soccer tie.
Soccer tie. But in this case, I'm actually getting plus 105. So I'm paying what, like 47, 48 cents for something that I should be paying 55, 56 cents for. It's a bargain. I'm taking it. Fingers crossed, no stupid soccer ties. $30 on the Montreal Football Club. I'm sure that everybody watching has their Montreal Football Club banner hanging up behind them. As soon as I get my room down here, you'll see mine. Just kidding. So that wraps it up for me with picks today, Sean.
Okay. Yeah.
Anything else?
No, we got college football starting tomorrow.
And I have a play there.
Yeah, I do too.
I can't do Illinois or Nebraska because they don't give us a line here.
Oh, I know the line there.
Yeah, I mean, I can do it, but I can't personally bet it because you can't bet college sports in Illinois. You can't bet on Illinois teams in Illinois on college. I guess too much of a temptation for the kids around here to throw the game, I guess, huh?
Yeah, and that's a line that we'll talk about this tomorrow. That's a line I find very intriguing.
Is it? So one of your plays right there?
Yep.
All right. So that wraps up today, Sean. We'll be back tomorrow morning way too early. So on the West Coast, on the East Coast, we start at 8, 7 o'clock here, 5 o'clock if you're out on the East Coast. So make sure you get up in the morning. If not, just head over to Moneyline Madmen. You can look us up on YouTube. You can look us up on Twitter at Moneyline Madmen. Look us up at Facebook on Moneyline Madmen. Sean, anything else before we part?
No, that's it.
All right, folks, as always, until we catch up again, we certainly hope that every single one of your tickets is a winning bet. See you in, I don't know, too soon.